Here we go, Al Gates. We are back for episode 2 of Chalk Talk with the Zebras. One and only Ray Dunn, number 36. And with me, number 30, Allison Gates.
Thought I was the one and only.
You are the one and only, but you're my mentor of the one and only.
Oh, yes.
Right? There you go.
There you go.
All right, so Al, we had some good feedback from our first video that we did last week of that 5-man crew. Just looking back at the video, rewatching it after we produced it and put it out on the NBFOA webpage, is there anything that we could have added to that video?
One thing that I realized probably the day after, whatever, that we really didn't talk about as far as pass coverage goes, is in the 3, 4, and 5 official positioning. Pass coverage is basically a zone coverage. There's really no man coverage in those lower levels of numbers of officials on the field. So sometimes at a pregame or a clinics or whatnot, guys will ask if they're working the line judge or down judge position, who am I covering? Who am I responsible for? So basically 5-man positioning, 5-position official, it's a zone coverage. And you go from there. And I don't think we talked on that very much.
Yeah, we didn't really get into the zone specifics that guys have.
Yes.
You know. Yeah. Well, we'll try to do that in the 6-man diagram tonight, because tonight, if I understand correctly, we're looking at a 6-man crew passing situation again tonight.
Correct. Okay. High school playoff game from 2019.
2019. So one of the last
36 will show up in the field.
36 shows up in the field.
He does.
Great. I hope it's a positive video then.
Well, I picked out one of the better ones.
All right, good. Let's bring up the video. I'm just going to share my screen here. Okay, so here we go. Formation hasn't broke yet. Let's bring the guys up to the line of scrimmage, and then we can talk about our formation.
Yeah.
So everybody's breaking. Gates are up. See, Gates went down. And we'll stop right here.
Okay.
All right. So let's talk. So here's the funny thing about these videos, Al. This is what I want everybody to understand about these videos. These videos are not just for newer officials. These are for existing officials as well. And one of the things that I have never done in my white hat career is I have not worked the white hat position in a 6-man crew at this point.
Yes, you have.
Have I?
Yes.
Okay, I guess
I say you're fibbing.
I'm thinking I have not worked an AFL game. Sorry, okay. I haven't worked an AFL game in a 6-man crew. I've probably done a high school playoff game. That's right.
You're the referee.
Yeah. Okay.
In this game.
I'm the referee in this game?
You are the referee in this game.
You would never know that I've walked 200 kilometers this month by looking at the referee in this picture.
This was from years ago, Ray.
All right. So
you digress.
All right. It's the AFL that I've never worked in a 6-man crew. So I have done. So let's right off the bat, let's talk about the positioning of our guys on this play. Who are the 2 main officials that are moving around in this formation?
So right now at the referee is yourself and our umpire. And if you remember back last week when we talked about the referee and umpire, in the 6th official position, basically they're the exact same. Their initial positioning is the same as it was in 5. The referee's still wide side of the field in the offensive backfield. Umpires diagonal to him in the defensive backfield. Our 2 line of scrimmage officials, the down judge and the line judge, same as in 5-man positioning. We will have a bit of a change though when we move to them actually moving off the line of scrimmage. One of them will become known as a moving official, and the other will become known as a hold official, which is slightly a bit of a change from what we've used in the past. Our field judge is the deep official who would have been the back umpire in the 5-man position. It's a field judge now, just a change in name. And our new official that we've added in is the back judge. And they will end up, based on where the ball is, will end up becoming either an inside deep official or an outside deep official. And these positions are all determined by where is the ball being scrimmaged on the field. So I can't touch my screen here, but if you look at the image, our friend number 7 is back in the game as our down judge on this side of the field. He, in this situation, is going to be the moving official. He has no deep official on his sideline. So he's responsible, just like he was in the 5-man. He's got zone coverage all the way to the goal line if it's a pass play.
Okay.
Directly across from him, the line judge is the held official or hold official, okay, where your pointer is. And if you go down from him about 20 yards, this is our deep sideline official. He's right out on the sideline. He's going to have deep coverage on that side. Okay. So the held official doesn't need to move. I shouldn't say doesn't need to move. He doesn't need to break off the line of scrimmage like our moving official does. You can't really see him because, well, in the video, the inside deep official is standing on about the 40-yard line, right in the center of the field. And he's about 20 plus yards off the line of scrimmage. So now that this alignment's come, we're going to have a little bit more keen on man coverage before we go into a zone coverage.
Sounds good. Now, one thing, Al, I just want to, we talked about this off camera a little bit. I just want to bring this up because maybe a lot of guys haven't heard this term yet. You're referring to number 7 as the down judge versus the head linesman. So can you just explain the difference in the terminology?
In all football in North America, well, probably worldwide, but I can speak for North America, there's a move to everything becomes gender neutral. So rather than this, the position used to be called the head linesman, he is now the down judge. And this has been adopted across the country. And I'm going to make a guess at this, I may be wrong, but I believe the CFL and the NFL both adopted that terminology probably within the last 2 years. Our rule book also is moving towards gender neutral to get rid of the he, she in the rule book.
Awesome. Good. So head linesman is going to be a position of no more. It's down judge and line judge on the sidelines.
Correct.
Awesome. All right. Okay, so looking at this play, I mean, we've given it away that it's a passing play already. But is there anything from an officiating standpoint that you're looking for just based on the formation?
Well, again, like we said in the 5-man or 5 position last week, you have some little hints or clues or keys that you're going to pick up on. So the team in the dark jerseys have 3 receivers out to this side of the field. Location of the quarterback, we're second down and long. All little hints that we may see a passing play come up.
Yeah. And as the white hat, one of the things I know my sideline guys are, they're looking for their end on each line of the scrimmage.
Yeah. But
as a referee, I'm always double checking before the snap, making sure that there are 2 ends out on the line of scrimmage. And same thing, it's interesting in this play because we only have a 5-man formation on the line.
Yeah.
And with the 3-man outside, I'm paying a little extra attention to that as the white hat in this picture.
Very quickly, you do that quick count. And again, it's something that it's sort of like that safety measure that we all have. I shouldn't say we all, many of us have, that we want to make sure the play goes cleanly, that we have the proper number of interior linemen, that we have our eligibles on the ends and so on. And we have to also be willing to trust our other members of our crew that they're doing the same thing. So in this situation, our line of scrimmage officials make sure that they have a receiver on their end. The umpire and the referee are making sure they have the 5 interior linemen or more so that now we have a legal line, offensive line to run with.
Sounds good. All right. You ready to play this play here, Al?
We can do that. Yeah.
All right. Let's see them. Let's see how this play starts out here. All right. So we've got a little pause here.
Which is fine at this point in the play. If you want to just back it up to that pause.
Okay.
There's going to be, if it's a non-official watching or a non-coach watching, there's going to be some concern about right at the center line marker, you see a player engaging with an opponent.
Yes.
And there's a reason why he can do that in this play sequence. Now, this is a forward pass, but it's a forward pass behind the line of scrimmage, or by terminology, it's a screen pass.
Right.
On a screen pass, blockers can be downfield engaged with opponents. Okay, so this is not a true over the line of scrimmage forward pass, but it is a type of forward pass that many of the passing rules still fall into play. So if you want to let it play, sorry?
It's basically like a run play, right?
Oh, yeah, with the passing aspect to it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right, so I saw, let's go right around here, Al. I'm just going to bring this up here. And right around in here, we've got a blindside block that's taking place on this play here.
Right. Now, just before we get to that, if you look at the sideline official coming up the field, he's running with his arm up, which is a awkward position to be running in at any time. The hand up by that official tells all the other officials on the field that we've had a screen pass or a forward pass behind the line of scrimmage,
right,
which allows blocking to occur. And he keeps that mechanic up so that everybody will know that. Before we move on, if you were to take your pointer to go to the far side, you notice that the line judge has now come off the line of scrimmage. He's moving in towards the numbers.
Yeah.
And down further than him, the outside deep official is also moving in towards where a majority of the players are. The field judge, in this case, who's on the 35-yard line on our side of the field, you see him also moving out. Our problem is we all have responsibilities to cover receivers, to cover blockers, to cover the ball in this case. On this play, as you point out, occurring right at the 45, 50-yard line, 49-yard line, you're going to see a guy get a little bit of a shot in. Not a real hard shot, but if you watch the continuation of the play, it is a foul, but it's not going to injure that player. But watch the official. Okay. So unfortunately, that wasn't picked up on that play. And it's not so much that there's a risk to an injury to the player, which there is, but there's also a risk to other people on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, because here, right here is where contact's made, right here at the 46-yard line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody should have the blocking on this play. Ray, if you want to take it back to just where the two teams are lined up at the line of scrimmage. Okay, so we talked earlier about the 3, 4, and 5 official system being primarily zone. The 6 official system now starts to incorporate some man coverage. So the hold official on the far side, the line judge, is responsible for the inside receiver. So in this case, and I can't point at it, if you can put your pointer on that back right there, that player is the responsibility of the line judge. And it's his responsibility until he clears contact. I'll explain what clear contact means in just a couple of minutes, but he's his man until he clears contact, and then it goes to a zone. The deep sideline official on that side, who is the moving official, his responsibility is the first receiver, that guy right there. In the same routine, that official has that player until they clear contact, and then they go to a zone. And his zone coverage is all the way to the dead ball line, right through the end zone. Come over to this side of the field where number 7 is. He's the inside, he's the moving official. He's responsible for the first receiver. Okay, which is next one. I'm looking at their stagger. Next one in. So it's going to be that guy right there.
Yeah, number 2. He's got key 2.
Exactly.
Right.
And then the inside deep guy, who is our field judge, would have the inside receiver on his side of the field. So go in one more receiver. No, went too far.
Right here.
That guy right there.
Right here,
is
yeah.
a deep official.
Right.
Now, here's the problem for number 7. He's got two receivers right in front of him. So he's got that player's responsibility, the guy who's the eligible on the end, as well as the player behind him. And he has both of those guys until they clear contact. So what do we mean by clear contact? It's basically a generic term that means in the first 5-10 yards is where most contact between a receiver and a defender is going to occur. And a lot of times that's our little short zone coverage. After that 5 to 10 yards, you're probably not going to have any contact between a receiver and a defender unless the ball's coming to them and they become a threat. So 7 would have the 2 receivers here, first 7 to 10 yards, and then it would go to zone. But because it's a pass out to this sideline, number 7 can never give it up as being a zone play. Other guys in the field will go to zone because the ball moves out of their area. That clear as mud?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So let's talk about our positions in the middle of the field, Al, as this play comes. Okay. Now the referee is going to disappear here,
okay,
but he is like the referee is keeping an eye on the quarterback. Yep. His key is the quarterback on this play, right?
Yes.
And after the quarterback's cleared, then he's going to follow up behind with the play and have an eye for blocking.
Yeah, making sure that there's no threat to the quarterback.
Right.
Yeah.
The umpire, who is I guess he's on the short side of the field, far side of the field for us looking at this play. He's going to be watching the line of scrimmage play, and then he too is going to turn and follow with the play.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And we've already talked about the deep guys. So let's let this play roll again a little bit further. So you can see here as a referee, I've definitely taken my eye off the quarterback and said he's safe, and I'm now kind of keeping an eye on the play from behind. Yeah. The umpire hasn't quite turned yet. He looks like he's focused on this stuff that's going on in here.
Correct.
Okay. So now we're, now the play has extended here. I've got the white hat has definitely a view from behind coming up. The umpire's now got this view across here. Yeah. We've got the deep side official keeping an eye on this direction here. And obviously the sideline guy, he's got the ball carrier. He's watching the ball carrier at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. So now the hit takes place right here as we've talked about. As a crew, Al, this call should definitely have been made from the inside out.
Correct.
As we talked last time, right?
Yeah.
As a referee, okay, again, I'm out of the play here, but I'm back quite a bit on this play. How far up should the white hat be coming up so he can help out with this play here?
As a rule of thumb, the referee and the umpire still have a lot of players involved in what was going on in the line of scrimmage. So you can't bail out of there too quickly. You've got to move slowly coming up out of there with wide vision to make sure nothing happens with that pile of guys in there. At this point, once with the balls got here, as you said, the sideline guy, line of scrimmage official, has the ball. that means somebody else has to pick up the blocking. So that now falls on the shoulder of the field judge on this play, the guy who's on the 35-yard line.
Okay.
He should be looking back into that group. And there's a lot of separation between the players there, except for an opponent, two opponents who are pretty close together. Everything else looks separated out. So he should sort of have his antenna picked up to be checking where is there a threat to an opponent. I don't think the referee, you're in this situation, the referee is what, 20 yards away?
Yeah.
It's got to be pretty blatant, and you've got to have the Red Sea open in front of you to see that.
And the quarterback is still back here around the line of scrimmage. So you're kind of half keeping an eye out for him as well as watching this play as well.
Yeah.
The umpire is definitely making a move towards the middle of the field. Should the umpire be a little bit more aggressive getting across the field now to help out with this stuff?
Once the stuff has started to break down in the center of the field, the players have started to separate, then he can make that aggressive move. But if he moves too quickly, that's when something unkind might happen behind him. And those are the worst type of things we want happening on the field.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to just let this play to the end here one more time. And that is basically it. The spot looked really good. Yeah. Looked like number 7. He held his hand up till the end. He got down, got the spot going out of bounds. The film ends quick, so you can't see if he stopped the clock and gave a signal for first down there. The call. So if you're the referee, Al, and you see a kid go flying to the ground like that, should you be calling a member of the crew to come up and say, did anybody see anything there? What are your thoughts there?
I would have to, and I'm sort of playing this through my mind and thinking gray area now. I would have to have seen something pretty blatant from my position deep to call people together. I might just casually ask the guy, anybody see what happened to him? Just because somebody falls doesn't mean that it was a foul.
Right.
Okay. And one of the terms that we'll use a lot in the game of football is who's got the ball, who's got the blocking. And in this case, as the ball was going up the sideline, there's no question who has the ball. The question is, at that point, who's picking up the blocking? And in this case, we got two guys. We got an inside and outside guy. The outside guy has the ball. The inside guy's got to pick up the blocking.
Right.
So maybe the inside guy didn't feel that was enough of a bump to call a foul, just to give him the benefit of the doubt of it. Or, which happens sometimes, and you can't really tell in this one, maybe he wasn't looking where he should be. Maybe he was watching the ball.
Right. Listen, and with every mechanic that we have, 5-man, 6-man, 7-man, even in the 7-man, there's always a spot in the field that has a soft spot as far as coverage goes.
Yeah.
Right. And on this particular play, as an officiating crew, we are loaded up on the short side of the field where we expect the ball's going to go.
Yeah.
But again, that type of play running to the wide side of the field, it's the soft spot in a 6-man crew.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. As you say, there's soft areas everywhere, but you want to make those soft areas have no players in them.
Yeah. All right. So let's just back up here one more time. I want to just see these guys come out. I just have a couple more questions for you, Al.
Yeah.
You broke down earlier in the video as far as you broke down in the video earlier, who's free, who's held. So when that communication's taking place on the field, who should be involved in that communication? Obviously, the two sideline officials are going to make that decision. It's pretty straightforward between the deep guys, but should this deep official be checking off with the deep or the what's the new term again?
The line of, well, this would be your down judge.
Your down judge,
Yeah.
down judge. So
What-
should he be checking with the down judge just to confirm that he is free on this play?
One of the things I jotted down here in my little notes to talk about is in a 6-person crew, we have 3 teams.
Right.
Okay. One of the teams is the 2 guys at center field, referee and umpire, and they're communicating on every play. Do we have the right number of guys in line of scrimmage, and we checking off with each other in that? Does something look odd or out of focus on this play between those 2 guys? The next pairing is going to be the line judge on the far side of the field and the line judge and I just had it written down here. Okay, line judge and the back judge on that side of the field.
Right.
Those guys need to be communicating on every play, as do the the down judge and the field judge. And it's things like you're free, I'm held, I'm here, whatever the terminology is you want. So with the deep side official who's outside at the top of the screen on the far side, he's got to let that guy who's on the line of scrimmage know, you don't have to break right away, I'm here. And the same with the deep guy. And that's just all part of our communication. And it becomes more important when yardage becomes short or when we get close to a really important line like the goal line. The communication is really important, and it's got to be every play.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And you know, the other interesting thing that I catch myself as a deep guy in this kind of formation, when you watch Tantramar on this play, they line up very tight to the ball. They line up very tight to the ball as a defense. A lot of times you see, like Moncton High usually have 2 safeties 25 yards off the line of scrimmage. But you can see at the snap of the ball, this defense formation actually tightens up to the ball. He's only 10 yards off the line of scrimmage by the time this ball's snapped.
Yeah.
And I catch myself as a deep offender moving up with that defense. But on this particular play, it just goes to show the importance of staying back so you have that nice wide view so you can pick up that stuff versus being too tight to the play.
If one of the keys that we talk about at the next level or at the 7-person positioning is those deep guys, when that ball snaps, your first move is to step back, step away from the play. Because, well, I don't know about you, Ray, but some of us are much older than these kids that are playing at all the 3 levels that we work. They're very fast.
Yeah.
At the high school level, some of these kids are sprinters. And if we're standing flat-footed, we cannot get ourselves in the correct position to rule on plays. So if you're a deep official, the ball snap, your first move is to step back. And it's the same with the referee. The referee's a deep official, but on the other side of the ball. When that ball snapped, his first step should be backwards. And the reason being is when the ball comes to the quarterback, where's the quarterback going? He's stepping back.
Yeah.
He's stepping back to hand it off, or he's stepping back to get set to pass. So you have to have your feet moving. The only 2 people, and I use this very, very softly, the only 2 people, one person who doesn't move right away is the held official. He doesn't need to have his feet moving because he's got a rule on what happens on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. There's your 6-man play. Al, I'm going to do the same thing I did last week. I'm going to let it roll in full speed one more time.
You might want to take out your little stoppages there.
And there it is. Yeah, that was it. You could see again, Al, that the video cuts off before we can see number 7 take his spot there. But he was definitely coming in to make a good spot there on the ball. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, it's well covered. It's just, you have that bump. Was it a foul that should be called? Where was the deep guy looking? Sometimes when video's a little closer, you can pick it up based on the brim of their hat. So,
there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's Chalk Talk number 2 with Gates and Dunn here. Al, it's always a pleasure talking football with you. And you know, the one thing I'd love to dig in with you at some point is reviewing film. I think one of the issues that a lot of officials have is not knowing what to be looking for when it comes to film, and watching you go through the film like this. I think it's definitely going to help people with learning how to actually review film. So I think this is I think that helps out in all of this as well.
Yeah. Don't watch yourself, watch the play.
There you go. All right, Gator. Thanks again, and we'll get this out on social media very soon, and we look forward to all your comments and feedback.
A1. Thanks, Ray. Cheers.
See ya.